anytime you need to create a new program, something that's going to be able to allow registrations, you're going to click this button right here. It's really easy to find right on the desktop under, or on the dashboard under Quick Links. So you go ahead and click Create a New Program. A box is going to pop up that shows you the different program types you can choose from. They're all pretty similar. The differences are very subtle. Pick the one that best fits the program that you are going to create. Today we're going to go with League, so click League. And now we are in the program creation process here. So right off the bat, we can decide if we want this to be a grouped program or not. A group program allows you to create sub-programs underneath one master program. So if that's the type of setup that you need, you would make this program grouped. We're not going to do that today, but just so you know, that is an option that you have. League type. This is going to be determined based on your site settings. Some accounts are adult only, some are youth only, and then some are mixed. This is a mixed site that I'm on, so I have this league type option, so I can choose youth or adult. We're going to leave it on youth. Let's do baseball. You're going to choose your sport, your season, your level, gender. Let's go ahead and go with co-ed, and visibility. So visibility is going to essentially be a quick way to publish your program. During creation, I usually recommend to set this to private until everything is as you want it, because as soon as you save on this page, it's going to show up on your front end, on your website. So go ahead and set that to private, and then when you're ready to publish it, you can just hop back in here and change that to public. Okay, we need to name our program. I always recommend something that is going to be easily understood years from now. You don't just want to name it baseball, winter baseball. Add in years, add in seasons. It's going to help you in the long run. So let's go ahead. We'll do 2018 Winter Baseball League. Program code is optional if you need that for reporting. Sponsor is optional. If there's a sponsor for your league or for your event, this is a neat place to shout them out because it will display on that registration page. Activity start date is just that. It's going to be the date that your activity begins. This will display on the registration page unless you make it hidden. But let's go ahead and we'll say our league is starting November 10th. We're going to leave it visible. Tentative. If you're not entirely sure, all this does is add a little tentative label so you can go back in once you have the date finalized. End date is going to be the end date of your program. Let's say we're going to go all the way till March 10th. And again, you can keep that visible or not. That's up to you. End date is not required. Registration start and end. So this is going to be where you can create a registration window when you want people to be allowed to register into this program. You may want it open right now. Then you don't need to put a start date. I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to open on Monday, and then registration end. As soon as that date comes along, that register button on your registration page is going to disappear. So all that information will still be there. People can see that you had a program, but they won't be allowed to register past this registration end. I'm going to go ahead. Let's say we're starting on the 10th. We want everyone in by the Friday before. Okay. Moving down, registration status. These are some ways that you can override, what's allowed with the registration process. So just to highlight a few, open soon. If I didn't have a registration start date, but I knew I wasn't quite ready to open it yet, you can set it to open soon, and that's going to keep registration closed until you hop back in and either set it to open or back to no override. Sold out and canceled are going to close your registration immediately. So if you sell all your spots, if you sell, there's no more spots in your league, you can come in and set it to sold out, and it's going to, even if it's before this registration end date, it's going to go ahead and close that registration. So you don't always have to come in and adjust this date. You can use these here. There's also options so you can determine what types of registration you're selecting if you need it to be only females, only team captains, only free agents, etc. So all of that will override your settings up here. We're going to leave that as nothing. For program state, Most new programs are going to be in an upcoming state. Once we hit that activity start date, they're going to automatically change to live, but just leave that as upcoming. Location. So location is where all of those locations that you have set up underneath manage locations will live. So if you haven't created a location there, it's not going to show up here, but let's go ahead, we'll pick a location. If you have a program that's going to be over multiple locations, if you're playing on different fields, just leave this blank. It's not a required field, and you can always add that information in the schedule down the road. Same for this information. If it is going to get too crazy, you've got too many days with different times, just leave this blank. Down here, you have a description box where you can really spell out those details if they're not as black and white as these options that we give you here. Okay, but I'm going to say we meet on Saturdays at 1 p.m. And you don't have to put an end time if you don't have one, but we're going to plug that in. Again, description, you can add anything here. You can add pictures. You can add, again, that if you have more details as far as where the locations are going to be, you can be, we're going to play at this field, we're going to play at this field, coach's meeting is on this day, here's the link to order your uniforms. All of that you can plug in here. It's 100% customizable. Okay, so once everything looks good, we're going to go ahead and click Save and Edit Options.